Hi, and welcome to Realty Times Women in Business and Women in Real Estate. I'm Terry Murphy, the Senior Executive Editor, and I am so excited about who you're about to meet. So talk about a force to be reckoned with. Here's a fun fact. Latrivia Welch is the godmother of the Russian Mafia Romance Genre. Okay, I thought Mafia was just Italian, but apparently not. She is the president and CEO of Riverhouse Publishing. She is the CEO of Welch Public Relations. Oh, incidentally, she's written 34 novels. 750,000 copies of her books have been sold. And I'm going to let her tell you about the very, very narrow and exciting and interesting vertical that she has, because you won't believe it. Welcome, Latrivia Welch.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
So you are USA Today's best-selling author, formerly Latrivia S. Nelson, until she married a major hunk. She divides her time between three major factions: family, business, and writing. How do you have three children and write 34 novels and have laundry? How do you do that?
You know, it can become such a handful, I think, for anyone. But it's very exciting, to say the least. Always new adventures every day. And I think the bigger problem, or should I say the bigger solution, is just to figure out how to juggle those on a daily basis, because you know you love all of them.
Well, yeah, except after 3 weeks of incarceration, I'm not so sure
Right.
about that. So you have a matrix of purpose, and I did not want to disclose that. The 34 novels are about interracial romance in an effort to eradicate certain issues that we face. Multicultural children, really spicy plots is what I was trying to say, romance, African-American women as heroines. And my God, unless you've lived under a rock your whole life, you don't know that. My God, you guys are amazing. Talk to us about what your real heart purpose was in writing these kinds of books.
Well, you know, when I was growing up, I was very into all of the action movies. I read a lot of books when I was little. I mean, where other kids liked playgrounds, they liked to do any number of things, I was always into action movies and reading books, going on adventure walks, the whole nine. I mean, I had a very fun childhood, and I was given a lot of opportunities to just take things as far as I wanted to take them. And so I guess starting early, my first poem or short story was published in the Commercial Appeal in 1985. I was 5 years old. And I just love telling stories. So
5 years old.
5 years old.
Okay. Just checking.
My teacher was very impressed with my stories that I was creating. I love to share them. She submitted it to the Commercial Appeal and they printed it. From there, I loved books. And so one thing that I did not see that I wanted to see was more African-American women in those roles. Like when I was growing up, watching The Godfather, watching Scarface, I was like, except for Action Jackson, right? Okay, and I'm like, I want to be the woman who's in, the leading role in these. And so I decided, instead of always complaining or saying, there's just no space, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna create a lane. And so that's what I did.
You created this woman because it was hopeful that you shot it by yourself, by this one little person in the universe who happens to emanate from Memphis, Tennessee, but is global in her reach with 750,000 copies, to eradicate the stigmas that come with interracial, multicultural children. I think that's profound. And by the way, extremely brave, because, there's bias that we don't even know we have as humans. And that's part of our safety mechanism. But I would say to you, so obviously you were way more creative at a 5-year-old than I was. So what motivated you really to become an author?
I've always wanted to be an author.
Really?
I've always wanted to write. I've always loved the written word. Some of my favorites growing up were Leona Blair, A World of Difference, Ernest Hemingway. I just have this like eclectic build, and so of authors, people that I still read all the time for different motivation. And I felt as though this was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to write, but I also wanted to make a statement the way these amazing authors had made statements. And so going into being an author was all about creating something new. I read something new, if whether it was A Movable Feast, or if it was Roll of Thunder, Hear Me Cry. I read all these different worlds and took in all this information, and I wanted to give something unique, even if it was crazy, even if people are like, it's not really my thing, still to contribute something unique.
Well, you picked a genre that's kind of unusual, a Russian romance, interracial, mystery, hot, little spicy. How did you land there?
Well, a lot of different things sort of led me there. Again, my PhD studies are in criminology with a focus on organized crime and sexual deviancy.
Okay,
so
that gives us a little hint.
Yes, so I've studied organized crime syndicates for a very long time. And during that time, I felt as though, you know, there were certain organizations that were not necessarily, they weren't in the limelight, but they were responsible for a lot of the different things going on. And so I felt like this gives me an opportunity to have fun, right? To create one of these stories, but also to shed a light on some things that people may not recognize. In the beginning of Gabriel's Regret, there is a whole section with 1-800 numbers for human trafficking, what to look for, how to identify these things. So we address real issues, and then we talk about these what I call anti-heroes. So you cannot believe that you love them, but you love them anyway. They're the good bad guy. So we add all of these layers of truth, of fiction, of excitement, of real world issues, contemporary and historic, because we do break down things like the fall of the USSR and the rise of the Voroviza. So we talk about all these things in their true nature, and then we add that fictional piece to it, which for a lot of women who are intelligent professionals would not accept anything less.
What is the title of your very first book?
My very first book was Ivy's Twisted Vine, and it was based in Memphis, Tennessee. It was about a love triangle between a college queen who was African American, her boyfriend who was from a very prominent political family, and also her accidental lover who was an Italian police officer. So Ivy's Twisted Vine is like this.
Wait a minute. You figured out how to put an Italian in there. I think that's amazing. I love that. So tell me a little bit about who's your following, who's the market that you really resonate with, age group, demographic. I mean, 750,000 copies is kind of a spectrum. Would you agree?
It is. It's definitely a spectrum, especially considering when I first started out, I sold 50 books with Ivy's Twisted Vine, first fresh out 50 books. Dimitris Closet grew a little more, and then our following just blew up. But my following more so is women 25 plus. So I have women who are 25 all the way up to 85 who read my books. They're normally graduates, college graduates, professionals. I can't tell you how many doctors read when they are doing their rounds, and they're going to be there for a long time. They always email me, or a lot of people have my cell phone numbers, like, when is the next one coming out? A lot of my readers are professional women. Now, a larger portion of those women are African American, but when you really look at it, and we have men, we have I think 10 to 12% of our readers are white men. Okay. We also have about 25% that's professional white female 35 plus. So we have a large group.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's pretty diversified. You kind of skipped over Dimitris Closet. Uh,
Yes.
in case your people are listening or not familiar, would you mind just explaining what that is and how you
Sure.
found?
So the Russian Mafia Romance genre, which is now huge, you see it everywhere. All Ivan, Dmitri, this, that, and the other. All this, his to surrender, and all these things. This was not even a genre before Dimitris Closet. So I wrote Dimitris Closet based on two things: former experience in relationships and people, and I think that desire to create this fictional relationship that was amazing. So the main character is Dmitri Medlov, who's actually a 7-foot tall blonde. He had
Whoa.
always been in my heart since Rocky 4. I'm sorry, he has. He's always been in my heart since Rocky 4. And I guess this gave me an opportunity to combine that with this virginal college graduate. So I added two elements: the soft, the demure, and then the hardened and brazen alpha. And I combined those in this story of Dimitris Closet that was released in 2010. And then now we have 20 books in that genre that have sold so many, but also it inspired literally over 100 different authors. It inspired white female authors, Black female authors. You look and you look at the Bratva Russian Mafia Romance genre, which was started with Dimitris Closet back in 2010, when I was told it was ridiculous, it's stupid. You get all the naysayers, and I really would love to tell people, when you are doing something new, you can't expect for everyone to love it. That's not your goal in the first place. If you know that you have something new, be prepared for people to be questionable about what it is, not necessarily on board with supporting it at first. That's not your job. Your job is to introduce it, to put whatever this new concept is, whether it's tangible or intangible, in front of people, and to offer them this new way of looking at things or doing things, whatever it is that you've been called to do. And then you have to just sort of, the haters, you said that old saying, it's so cliche now, but you have to brush them off. Understand that you're not there to make everybody love it at first. You're there to introduce new. And then what happens after that is up to them. So that's what happened with this.
Yeah, that is so perfect, because the message, having done Women's Wisdom Network and working for major women professional groups, I can tell you that so often that mean girl thing shows up hundreds of years later, or not in your case, but I mean, you can be years and years and years from grade school and still feel the pain of not being, accepted by everyone. But your piece of the puzzle is so intricate and so unique. And it tells other women that it's okay and just, move on. But I would like you to share, what advice would you give to women who want to write? Because so many women want to write, they don't know the process. You have a publishing company, you went way beyond everything. So you just kind of shattered. It's sort of like, bring it on, baby. If you're going to get it.
Yes. One thing I always I tell all the readers, I go to a lot of different events, and the first question that is asked normally is, I want to be a writer. Where do I start? Or I have this book in my heart. How do I get it out? Or is someone going to be interested in what I have to say? Those are the three questions I hear very often. Number one, you don't know where to start. You start with a synopsis and an outline. Always. Outline your book. Start with a synopsis. This is what I want it to be about. And then outline each chapter. Those are your bones. Everything has a structure. A house has bones. Humans have bones. The smallest particles have the DNA, and that's your DNA. Secondly, when you talk about getting started, a lot of people, they don't think that there's any space for them. There are billions of people in this world. And if you are looking to get it out of you, this idea, this concept, then that's what you focus on. Your niche will find you, always. There's a niche for everything. So don't worry about that. There's space, there's opportunity, and then the time. The time is up to you. There's no time like the present, even if you're carving out 5 minutes of your day while you are in the tub alone, okay? Then that is enough time for you to focus on getting your dream out at first, but you have to be consistent with it. So my advice to women who want to be authors is, first, let me tell you, there's more than enough space for you here. There's more than enough pie. And then secondly, you got to do it.
That is such good energy to send out there, Latrivia. I'm so excited about your sharing that from your heart, because I know you, and we've done radio together, and I know more about you than the people that are listening. But the truth is, this is the real deal. So are you writing a book right now?
Yes, I'm always writing a book. I'm one of those people that books talk to me when I'm doing things like cleaning up or working on other things. And so I have a notebook always with me. Sometimes the notebook is like this small, and sometimes I'm blessed enough to have like a really big notebook around me somewhere so I can put more ideas in it, but it's always there. So now I am working on a series of books and some of them are supernatural, because we have a supernatural following after we did a story based in New Orleans, which is a lot of fun. We are wrapping up one of our police series with the Wicker Men. And then we're wrapping up the Grunt 3, Gavin, which is a military story. And we're wrapping up the Chronicles of Young Dimitris, which really sort of chronicle the evolution or the migration of organized crime out of Eastern Europe into the United States. So we are moving towards that.
As authors, very often people will say to me, well, what's the title of the book? And very often in the process, you don't have the title. Right. Do you have the title of this new one yet?
So yeah, there are several. Well, the Chronicles are always like the Chronicles of Young Dimitri, and you have right now we're at volume 8 that we're writing.
Okay.
The Grunt has always been the Grunt. So there's the Grunt 1, the Grunt 2, the Grunt 3. I don't really make it do a lot of guesswork.
Are you saying Grunt?
Grunt. So in the military, the guys who boot up and the women who boot up who have MOS or their identification classification is that they work out in the field, like they go beyond the line, and that's what they're doing. They're the ultimate like killing machine. They keep us safe. The story is based, the Grunt is based on the lives behind enemy line. I mean, well, when they're home, the garrison marine, if you will. Okay. So their lives at home and their relationships and how PTSD, life, and expectations of life can affect them.
Well, that is so interesting, and I like the structure of it. I know how structured you are. One of the questions that people often ask authors is if they like to speak to groups or book clubs. Do you do that?
Yes. So I love, as you know very well, Terry, I love to gab. It's nothing more fun than that. I love the energy. There are parts of me that's truly an introverted heart. I need to be alone and quiet when I'm working on certain things. But after that thing has birthed itself, I need to get out in the world. I need to talk. I need to hug. I need to feel. I need all of it. So book groups, speaking engagements, that's my way of sharing the process, getting the information out there, and also meeting new people, because I write about real people. There's something real in every character. And I need those new idiosyncrasies. I need those new divas in my life.
I love that part. So there's a legacy, I'm sure. I mean, this energy, depending on where you are in your life cycle. I mean, what happens in your 20s and your 30s, mm-hmm. as you progress, there become different values or different qualities of the values that you choose to live your life with. And mm-hmm. It becomes success to significance. And I would say to you, I know that you in your heart, because I know you have a legacy here that you're looking for. And I don't know, is the legacy just for women in general? Is it because you have children and you're raising human beings? Because you know that this, obviously, because you have validation that 750,000 people have been impacted. They chose to read these books.
Yes.
What do you think your legacy is, Miss Latrivia?
I want to be able to leave a legacy to all young women, regardless of color, race, creed, religion, any of that, regardless of what part of the world they are in. I want to leave the legacy of pride And I want to leave the legacy of endurance with them in the art of writing. The spoken word is one of the most powerful things that the human being has ever been able to create, save, art, right? Other forms of art, should I say. But I wanted people to pick up my books, and even if they don't necessarily like them, for them to see the overall premise or purpose, which is to be able to crack open your heart and let everything that is in there out so that it can be shared with people. I don't want you to worry about how popular your message is. I want you to understand that your voice is so important that you cannot hold it in. You have to share it.
That is so beautifully stated, because my good friend Michael Creasa, who's our video guy expert, he always says, you need to be you, everybody else is taken. And I think women in general, from my over 250 interviews, is that we don't understand the pure value of the uniqueness of who we are and what we bring to the puzzle. Just like there's only one piece for each piece of that puzzle, that's right. We bring in. I am so grateful for the piece that you bring and that you share. If somebody wanted to buy your books or contact you, give us some information about how to do that.
Okay, so I'm on every book platform. Mine is, I think, iBooks, which they're working on right now to upload us. But Amazon, your local Barnes & Noble, your mom and pop bookstop, you can always find my books there. And you can go to our website to learn more about the book. Some people have questions about what order do I read 34 books in? Or what books are for me? So you can go to my website, latriviawelchbooks.com, or follow us on the blog, latriviawelchblog.com. We have a lot of different ways you can keep up with what we've got going on. Our newsletter, you sign up for it, which is available on the website, latriviawelchbooks.com. You can sign up, and then when I release a newsletter, like when the newest book is coming out or when it's turned to Kindle Unlimited. A lot of my ladies have Kindle Unlimited. Some of my ladies have retired and on fixed income, so we try to be able to always provide them something. And most of those ladies we know have Kindle Unlimited, so we try to make sure we provide that.
Well, I have to tell you, from my heart to yours, and I'm sure everyone that's watching this, I want to thank you deeply and richly for opening a door to erasing some of the bias that we don't even know that we have, to show how life can be rich and enriching with different cultures and ideas and thoughts. Thank you for joining us here on Realty Times Women in Business, Women in Real Estate. I hope you'll join us again soon.
Well, thank you, Terry, and thank you for all that you are doing to help be a trailblazer for young women. I can't tell you how much I love you and look up to you, and I just thank you for all that you do. You definitely are a heroine.
Oh, you know what? I pass that around, will you? Thank you so much. I appreciate you, dear.